We're here today to honor one of the pioneers and, in a sense, at least, founder of our industry. So with that introduction, I would like to also add that we had one attendee who called me in a panic last night at 6 o'clock, and one of the reasons we started a little bit late is because he was driving from Ottawa for this event. He was the director of solar thermal for the federal government and a former student as well of Dr. Hooper's. So I think you can see that the legacy stretches further and wider than even we expected. And with that, I'd like to introduce Denis Tanguay, who's the CEO of the Canadian Geo Exchange Coalition, to take us on from here.
But basically, I just wanted to say a few words about the two events actually that we're doing today. Of course, recognizing Professor Hooper, and for that I wish to thank Gino Deridze, who about a year and a half ago, he said, well, there are a lot of leaders, or there seems to be a lot of leaders in this industry, but do you know where it all came from? I said, no idea. And then he said, well, Professor Hooper at the University of Toronto. And he says, in 1948, and then he started the story and provided me with documentation, and I said, okay, well, this is the story we want to talk about eventually. So I was looking for the right setup to do that. And last year, the board of directors came up with the idea of having bursaries to help students engage through ground source heat pump research. And I said, well, this is perfect, because if we are to launch a bursary program for students, why not do it at the same time where we recognize, well, I'll let Gino say the words, but the grandfather of the ground source heat pump industry in Canada. So these are the two events that we're doing today. So basically recognizing Professor Hooper and launching the CGC bursary program.
Dr. Tibor Turi here locally, who is the director of the Ontario NSERC office. And Dr. Turi graciously offered on behalf of NSERC to say a couple words here today of congratulations.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be here. Rarely do I get a chance to step into the shoes of our president, Madame Fortier, but today is one of those rare events, and I congratulate you, Dr. Hooper. I've read your paper. I'm an engineer, one of the few engineers actually working with NSERC, so I certainly have some appreciation for what you have brought. And on behalf of the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada, a longtime member in great standing, and whose reputation precedes himself, and if we look at the field that has unfolded in front of you, that's a testament to your achievement, and we congratulate you, and certainly bring all the best to the future of the whole industry, and so on. Thank you.
I do express again my genuine appreciation for this award. It was really a long time ago when we got started on this thing, and the whole business of the heat pump in Canada dragged its feet for about, well, as you all know, for maybe 50 years. And I am simply delighted to see that in the past few years there has been a real growth in interest and in the activity in the heat pump field. And I do thank you then for the opportunity and for the award.
From San Marco, from our board of directors, and GeoSmart is a company based in Cambridge. Pat Rutke also from our board of directors, Oshawa Refrigeration, obviously in the GTA, and Paul Mertes, our director, are here as well to present the actual plaque to Dr. Hooper. Gentlemen?
Everyone looking right here. Good, hold that.
At the entrance, you should have received or been able to pick up one of these folders. If you open it, you'll see the press releases besides the agenda. But also, if you go to the back, you will see by a certain Dr. F.C. Hooper, an experimental residential heat pump. This article will be reproduced with the kind permission of National Research Council and National Science and Engineering Research Council in the next Geo Connection, along with a profile article Dr. Hooper has granted to the magazine as well. In following on to, I guess, what's next, starting from this point 60 years ago, Denis mentioned early on that we had a discussion about a year and a half ago about fostering and creating or helping research and development in Canada happen. We were starting to see an awful lot of individual companies going out and doing individual research And we'd engaged a bit with the National Research Council, types of initiatives and departments, and come back to the idea that there's an awful lot of industry research that's starting to happen out there. So the second press release in your packet, you can see, is that we are also here today launching a bursary program. This is the first ever bursary program for the geothermal industry, and highly unusual for renewable energy industry as well. The press release has already gone out, so I'm sorry it's in your email. You'll have to read the full details. But we're here today also to thank the co-sponsors of this bursary program. There are industry leaders in any industry, and when we put out the call, we had a fast and a vigorous response to the point that we originally were offering 4 and have expanded the program to 5 bursaries. These bursaries are for 1 PhD student and 4 master's students across Canada, and the details on the application process and all of that as it goes forward in the next months are in your packet. The sponsors, as you can see on the second page of the press release, include Clean Energy Developments, which was one of our early members, Geosmart Energy based in Cambridge, which is one of our early members as well, Master Group, which is actually based in Montreal and covers Quebec and Eastern Canada, one of the larger distributors, as is Geosmart. Ground Heat Systems International, and Enertran, which is one of Canada's largest manufacturers of heat pump systems as well. I'd like to ask each of the sponsors here to say a word or two, invite them to, I guess, comment on what Dr. Hooper has just said, if they'd like, and also why they're interested in the bursary program and why they've decided to co-fund. And I'd like to start with the man who is actually responsible for introducing us to Professor Hooper and the legacy, Gino Direzzi from Ground Heat International. Gino?
First of all, thank you for the Canadian Geo-Exchange Coalition for making this possible. And a couple of words on the bursary. And first of all, Professor Hooper, congratulations. You're the great-grandfather of geothermal. They tell me I'm the grandfather, but you're the great-grandfather. The two things that come to mind when we talk about there's 2 proverbs that are relevant to come to mind today. One is the need is the mother of invention, and the out of sight, out of mind. So with the bursary at the university, we will be constantly reminding students that our grassroots industry has needs for bright minds to help constantly improve and develop design software, materials, tools, and installation equipment, system designs, marketing tools, and project engineers. And then basically, if we're constantly in the face of these young minds, in the bursary we'll also have, we're always going to be in sight, so they'll know that, make them aware that we have an industry, make them aware that there are jobs available in our industry, and that basically they become our resource, like Professor Hooper said earlier. The minds of the young people are just feeding on to us older people that to bring things along. The industry, as you know, right now, from the time Professor Hooper worked in the late 40s, they're like Denise indicated, there's only 2 references is in the paper. That means that's how early this was. Now it's around the world. You have China, you have Europe, you have South America, Central America, and these boys here are doing a good job. Thank you very much for the good work you're doing, and congratulations, Professor, as well.
Good day, everybody, and congratulations, Professor Hooper. I was quite amused with some of the stories about some of the things that weren't published. I'm sure there's more than a couple stories to go around in that respect. Professor Hooper was right. These are exciting times, and I'm happy to say that the secret is out. Okay, awareness about geothermal is growing. It's the most cost-effective, energy-efficient, environmentally friendly way to heat and cool your house or your business or your commercial facility. We know that more and more homeowners and commercial owners, business owners are going geo. There's no question about that. We see that on a daily basis from northern Canada to completely from the east to the west, and certainly further south. We're seeing this whole idea spread right across the world. These master and doctorate level bursaries will truly support postgraduate students in furthering their studies and research into the advancement of the ground source heat pump field and ultimately the geothermal industry. As a co-founder and CEO of GeoSmart Energy and a board member of the Canadian Geo Exchange Coalition, I am proud of our collective and ongoing efforts to build awareness and understanding about the benefits of the geothermal technology, ground source heat pumps, and how Canadian knowledge, experience, and research is shaping the industry around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan, and I'd also like to invite, we've heard from Canada's largest distributor. I'd like to invite a representative from Ontario's largest manufacturer, Mr. Don Murray from Enertran, based in Orangeville.
It's certainly a pleasure to be here at this very key moment and recognizing the early work of Dr. Hooper, and I'm sure that work is going to grow, and especially when the CGC does such things as starting to go back and put some of this on their website and get some of this information around. It's amazing. Have you ever had a really good book and you sort of read it once and you put it down, then a year or two or three or four later you pick it up again and you reread it and you find things in there that you must have missed the first time. You can't believe that how it jumped into the print. I wonder if some of the early publications in our area, by being reread, what will come out of that as well. I just have to bet some good things will come out of it. I'm a retired chemistry professor. I know nothing about heat pumps. I mean, since I'm an imposter, except for the energy, the heat of fusion and things like that I can relate to very well. But I put a heat pump in my house about 10 years ago, and I liked it so much, I bought the company. I stole that, but he's no longer with us, the guy that does the shaving, so I thought I could take it for free. The interesting part is, as I've traveled around North America, as I've traveled through Europe, I've been surprised at the fact that Canadians are recognized as having made major contributions to this whole business of moving heat around when you want it. And I think people give us credit for that, and they recognize our climate, and they say the Canadians should really know what they're doing. And as a result, we're in a preferred position, you might say, in dealing in Canada, but we're also in a preferred position in dealing with other places in the world. So the challenge is to build on this. I know no better way than go for innovation by building on the research side of it. I compliment CGC for what it has done to get this going. It is a unique step for sure, and I think the gathering today hopefully will represent, shall we say, many more gatherings that will come in the future with even a stronger research and development base there. Thank you very much.
Just in closing, I know everyone's anxious for the tea. Of course, our board of directors has passed a formal resolution, which will forward, I assume, in writing to Dr. Hooper, congratulating him, and our thanks on behalf of 300 companies or so active in the industry today. Our travel schedule this year, I guess it was Stan who said that north, south, east, and west, and Don has said that Canadians are in a preferred position. We can verify that. My file is the international file, and this year I've been to China, Japan, India several times, and we'll be going to Korea and Japan in the next 2 weeks, and Australia this summer, all at the invitation and the payment, let's say, of those governments to learn more about the Canadian experience and depth of knowledge here. Our challenge right now may be that Canadians don't take themselves seriously enough, and our hope is that this is the beginning of our world-beating industry here in Canada.